everyone, it's Jean from the Inky Owl Studio. Thank you so much for stopping by. I certainly appreciate your company and spending a few minutes with you. Today I'm going to be doing a Roxy Weekly Challenge. And one of the big reasons I'm doing it right now is because I want to use this project in decorating my upcoming journal. And of course, the last time we were together, I was working on the basis for my envelope journal. And just give you a peek, I've got everything, all the envelopes connected, and they're all ready to go. So the next time we get together, I probably will be either decorating them or doing the cover. Not sure which one yet. But today I'm doing the challenge. Now I do not have those lovely label stamps that Roxy had. They're really great. I wish I did. So I had to get my own stamps and kind of create my own idea. I did not have the circle stickers either, but I do have Avery address labels, which is, probably something a lot of people have, more so than they do the circle stickers, but, So I'm having to use these for my sticker paper part of it. I will let you see my preliminary project with this. It is a hot mess, let me tell you. I did learn a lot from this. And so I think if you do this project, you might want to just not be surprised that you have to do it a couple times. Just the first time you just sort of getting your feet wet. Unless you have her stamps and you can do it just as she did it. So I learned a lot from this, and it's not too bad. The pink is way too bright, for sure. I tried to give it a Paris theme type of a thing. It's okay. I think what I really don't like is the white background. That kind of bothers me a little bit. So so how I could have solved the white background is to, first of all, have printed a tea stain digital across all my tags. That probably is what I should have done, and then gone with my stamping. But it's not too bad. It's okay. I probably won't use it, but it was a good experiment, and it was fun to do, actually. It was quite fun indeed. So I thought, well, forget the sticker paper. Most people do have a cream cardstock in their stash. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to go ahead and use this, and then just use punches to punch it out with, and glue it onto my projects when I want to. This is what I learned, and that is, if you're working, your punch or your sticker or whatever you're working with is going to be a small space. And therefore, the larger your stamp, I found, the more recognizable it needs to be in its parts. All right, so if you saw just, this part of it, you would know it's a bicycle, or this way. Something that's recognizable that way. I mean, the Eiffel Tower has something about it that you can recognize parts of it. So something of that nature, or a key. Like here's a key that you could probably get a sense of no matter what part you saw of it. So that's what I found for myself, that the larger your stamp image is, the more recognizable it needs to be in its parts. I did have, the only stamp that I had close to a label was this one. And it's nice to have something square. I had to think about shapes, round and square. But it is nice to have something square that's angled. With lines or something, just something that is angular. And then I have little tiny things to fill in all the little spaces. And I tried to stick to a theme. So those are the things that I tried to do to make another one with. I do happen to have a nice large script block, although it's kind of fancy writing. For the vintage I'm going for, it would be nicer if it wasn't quite so fancy, but it's okay. It's good to go. And for the colors then, because of this fiasco with all this pink in here, well, I guess it's okay. If you had pink in your journal, it'd probably be all right. As I stuck to neutral types of shades. So I am using Stampin' Up! Stamps pads because it's what I have. So I'm using Creamy Caramel for the background. For the images, I'm using River Rock and Always Artichoke. These are kind of on the green neutral side. And I am using Coffee Archival ink and Close to Cocoa Stampin' Up! Ink there. So those are the colors I'm going for. And for the background then, I'm going to be going ahead and using this Creamy Caramel. And this Creamy Caramel is a light color. So I didn't want the background to be too awful busy. So I chose what I would consider a light color, neutral color to go in the background. I also, now if you're going to be doing this on stickers, that's the other thing you can think about as well. And that is, especially if the stickers are this shape, is you kind of want to get angles of, not necessarily go this way, where all the writing would be in one direction, but to kind of stamp it in a multiple type of direction. And have a little bit more randomness go to it. And I'm even going to do that here on this. And now it's not coming through all the way, and that's perfectly fine. In fact, I think it's a little bit more desirable for it to be not a perfect stamp. And put one in here like this. Another nice color for a background, especially if you were going to go in more cooler shades, that would be a gray. I thought I had considered that as a good background for something that's a little bit cooler. All right. So those, the background is finished. Now I'm going to be using the bicycle, and I kind of want the bicycle to stand out pretty well, so I'm going to be using the coffee and put on random stamps of the bicycle. And actually I would love for this to be a little bit darker, but it's not coming out as dark as I would like. Okay, and let me just run off on the edge. So I did like this bicycle. I'm doing a vintage type of project, and I do like to do vintage, so I thought this bicycle could go with a lot of things. All right, and one more. But you could definitely do this with botanicals and make the theme botanical or something of that nature. So I have my one large stamp on here. And then I'm going to go with the next large stamp. So I'm using two kind of large stamps. And this one I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use this Timber Brown. This stays on Timber Brown. Forgot to show that before. But I think I'm going to be putting that. And so the only thing I don't want to, and this is such a weird stamp, it's so sticky. I don't know what makes it that way. But I really want to use it, so I'm going to use it anyways. I'm trying not to overlap these two big images. I'm just trying to go like in between them. I'm even going to go over this one again. There. And go off the edges if I can. And then after this, we will start filling in with the smaller stamps. So I think I had to look for a lot of size. I guess let me back up. So many of my stamps are a larger size that it was hard to find ones that were somewhat small and medium, or smaller, I guess. Actually, these are all kind of on the small side when I compare it with my other stamps. But having these two are done here, and now I'm going to go in. I'm going to use the River Rock, and I'm going to go in with the little clock and kind of stick it in here and there. So it's a color, but it's kind of a neutral shade. Oh, I'm so sorry. You know, I overlooked this one here. Yeah, this is one I wanted to put in there, and I forgot. Yeah. So I thought a botanical would look nice inside here as well, even though it may not be exactly vintage. It's so this one the more I think about it, I am going to really go inside that block, because it's kind of like what she did. She went inside the little labels. So I do believe I'm going to be doing that with these. Whoops. I think I'm getting my stamps messed up. Isn't that terrible? Yeah, I really did not like these new designs on these ink pads, because you can't tell what color you're working with very quickly. All right, so I'm just going to finish this part. Now, at the end of this video, once I get this particular one done, I am going to show you another idea that you'll just hit your forehead and say, well, why didn't I think of that? A lot easier idea than what I'm doing here. It just depends on if you're in a hurry, because sometimes, you know, you're kind of in the mood to play with stamps. That wasn't too good there. You're kind of in the mood to play with your stamps, and so this is a really good one for that kind of a project. So now we can go back in and start putting these in here. So I'm just going to fill in a few of these gaps here and there, randomly around different places. So, okay, that's probably enough then for that. It is raining outside. I'm going to put this little key in here and kind of put him in a few little places as well. Alrighty. Trying not to pile them on top of each other, because I think that's what kind of like makes it a hot mess for me, is when I get them too much on top of each other. All right, one more over here. And one more little guy, and this is super little, but it's a little bit of a stamp back here. And just kind of put it in. Oh, that really stands out, doesn't it? So I think what I might do here is stamp it on something else. I think I might stamp it here and then stamp it on my project. Yeah. So I'm going to stamp it twice. Okay. And try to get them out. So this will work really well with your punches, or you don't have to have a punch. You could actually just cut it up and work with them that way. And I have a feeling that when I get done and I actually start punching them out, I might need to add more if I have a punch that doesn't get too much at one time. All right. All right. We'll just stop here. All right. Now I'm going to get my punches, and I have let's just see what the different punches will do. And okay, don't want to get picky, right? We just want to take a punch and punch. Oh, but I am getting picky now. Yeah. It's like, well, see, that's what I was afraid of. Okay. Maybe what I'll do here is take a larger punch and start putting these in. Oh yeah, there you go. So some areas are going to need a small punch, other areas will need a larger punch. Anyways, I just might as well go ahead and get all this together at once. You can even use this to create tabs. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think I'm liking this idea. Let me do a few more like this, and I'll do one more here and one more here. All right. So there you go. There are the little projects and what it looks like when you use stamps that are not labels. It is fun. And then I'm just going to do a couple here like this just to kind of give you an idea of a vintage take on these. But like I say, you don't have to have a punch. You could totally just cut out squares and rectangles with your paper trimmer. So that's what that looks like. But let me show you, and I'm going to reward you for hanging on this long. I'm going to show you a cheating way of doing this. Oh yeah, cheaters, that's what I'm doing. And that is, I took a piece of a sheet of the sticker paper, and I got 2 tear sheets, collage tear sheets that probably most of us who have digitals have at least one. And if you don't have one, you can go to Artie Mays' free site, and this is on her free site, this one down here. And I have printed these out. Isn't that cool? I mean, that is really pretty cool. I am going to use these. I do like this idea. This is where I put 2 5x7 images. So instead of a full sheet, I reduced it down to 5 by 7. That's how my printer works. So these are reduced. And when you do that, then there is a little bit more detail that you can see in your stickers. However, here is one that was not reduced. Okay, and this is, I purchased this on her site, on Artie Maze's site, this particular one. So this one is not reduced. And it's pretty cool too, actually. So I do intend to be using these. Yep, that is just very cool. So this is a way to do it if you just don't have the time to play with something and you're going for a certain look or color or whatever. This is a great way to do it, is just print this out on a sticker sheet and they're ready to go, and they'll stay like this until you're ready to peel them off and put them in your project. Now they will not be as bright as they would be on printing paper, but they're still, which is really actually an asset, because if you start collaging with them, you don't really necessarily want them to be the main attraction. You kind of want them to be a little different. So there's what you can do instead of doing it with the stamps. So I just thought I would show you that little trick, and thank you so much for watching. And next time we get together, we will work on the envelope journal. Have a crafty day. Bye.